Wow, this really is quite the stack of books. Hey book besties, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be rounding up all of the books that I read in October and the books I'm hoping to read in November. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button and stick around for more book content. Also, peep the makeup. I have my family's pictures on Sunday, so I've been trying to practice my makeup because I don't wear a full face of makeup anymore, like that often, so I needed to practice, and I think it came out really well. So now I get to enjoy filming in a full face of makeup. So let's dive into all the books that I read in October. I ended up reading 13 books, and I knocked off quite a few on my fall TBR, which is shocking because I usually don't. For the books I don't have physical copies of, I read The Baby on My Doorstep. I loved this one. I gave it 4 stars. It was such a fun read. I also listened to This Is a Safe Space. This is the newest book from Lucinda Berry, and this was a very quick read. It was like less than 4 hours, so engaging. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. And then I read She's Going to Pay. This was an ARC that I received. It's a thriller, and honestly, I felt bored most of the time. I ended up only giving it 2 stars. All right, next, I finished up the Chestnut Springs series with Hopeless. I am so sad this series is over. I had so much fun with it. And this one was great. It was a good way to end the series. I ended up giving this one 3.5 stars. Another ARC that I read Fear of Flames, which is a romantic thriller. This was interesting. I loved the thriller story of it, but the romance felt a little unbelievable to me, but I was still very intrigued by the thriller aspect. I ended up giving this one 3 stars. I finally read A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. This was so good. I was so happy to be back in this world. Reading about President Snow was so wild. I ended up doing an immersive read with this one, with the audio, and yeah, it was really well done. I've read that a lot of people don't really care for the audio version of this book, but I thought he did a great job. It was awesome. Next is Ask for Andrea. I did get an ARC of this as well because the book had like a new release with like this new cover. The new version also has like stenciled edges, which are really pretty. But yeah, I got a copy of this to read and it was so good. It's been on my TBR for a long time. It was a very unique concept for a thriller and I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 stars. Another ARC that I read, I was just eating up all the ARCs this month. Merry Christmas, You Filthy Animal. It's a little early for Christmas, but I was so excited to read this one. It was so good. This one has so many Easter eggs for Home Alone, and that's one of my favorite Christmas movies, so I was eating it up. And plus the MMC, Max, he was in the first book, which is How My Neighbor Stole Christmas, and I loved him in that book, so I was really excited to read his story too. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. And also, like, I had to pick up a trophy, of course, and I was struggling with which color I wanted because the green is definitely my favorite. It's what I ended up going with. But I toyed with getting the pink one, which is the Barnes & Noble version, because I have the pink version of How My Neighbor Stole Christmas. But I ended up doing this one because I just love the green. And then these edges, oh, so beautiful. Next is a book that was on my fall TBR last year that I didn't get to, but I finally got to it this year. Small Town, Big Magic. I ended up doing this as a big group buddy read and I loved this book. It was so much fun. The found family in this is like the perfect execution of found family. I really enjoyed it. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. Next is another book that was on my fall TBR last year that I didn't get to, but I did this year, The Kiss Curse. This is the second book after The Ex-Hex, which I absolutely loved, and this one was no different. I loved this one so much. I actually ended up reading it in 1 day, which is wild, but my library had the audio available, so I ended up doing an immersive read, and it's not too long of a book. I think it's about 300 pages, so I flew through it. Oh my god, I loved it so much. I gave it 5 stars. Another fall TBR book, Home Before Dark. I ate this book up. It was so freaking good. It's got like haunted house, paranormal type of vibes. I loved it. It reminded me a lot of The Haunting of Hill House, which is one of my favorite shows to watch during spooky season. So this one really delivered. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. I also read A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping. This is one of my most anticipated reads for this year, so I was so excited to read it. I really enjoyed this author's book she did, I don't think it was last year, I think it was the year before, but it's called A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I loved that, so I was so excited for this book too. Unfortunately, I was so bored. I know it's a cozy book, and I feel like there's like a thin line between cozy and boring, and this one was just boring. I was so upset because I really loved the other book this author wrote that I'd read, but this one just didn't hit. I ended up giving this one 2 stars. And last, the book that took the spot for my favorite read of this month, Best Offer Wins. This book releases next month on November 25th, I believe. It's a thriller, and it was so stinking good. It was also another very quick read, and I ate it up. This is like about a woman who like will stop at nothing to get her dream house. And honestly, going into this, I was like, how is this gonna be a whole book? Like, I don't know. It was so good. It was so suspenseful and like delightfully unhinged. I was like cackling at some of the stuff that was happening and like just like rolling my eyes at this woman for some of the stuff she was doing. But oh my God, it was like a car crash you couldn't look away from. I just could not get enough. It was so good. You have to add this one to your TBR for next month when it comes out. Oh my God, such a fun one. So overall, I did pretty well for October. I will say that like I read a lot of ARCs, and a lot of them that like were due that I had to get through, and I got like approved for a bunch like at once. So I ended up not getting to as many of my fall books as I wanted. I did get to some, which I'm very excited about, but I wished I'd been able to get to more. But that's okay, because I still got to read some amazing books, and especially got to read some books early, which is always fun. So yeah, I had a great October, and I feel really good about all the books that I read. Now, let's round up all the books that I want to read in November. Now, I feel like I've pretty much set myself up for success here to have like a mood reading month, because I don't have many books that I like have to read. I have a couple buddy reads that I'm doing and one ARC that I'm prioritizing, but other than that, it's pretty wide open, which I'm very excited about because I have like a plan for November. For the beginning of the month, I want to focus on some of my fall reads. Maybe not necessarily like witchy reads since it's not spooky season anymore, but definitely fall reads I've had on my TBR. And then a couple books that I want to read before the end of the year. And then towards the end of the month, I'm going to start dipping my toe into Christmas reads, but I don't have anything specific planned yet. So I have a small stack of books that I want to read, so let's get to it. First up is the ARC I talked about. It's Fallen City. I was hoping to read this in October, but I didn't get to it. I'm going to be starting it tonight. It releases on November 4th, and I get to meet the author on the 7th, I think. She's doing a tour for the new release of her book, and my local bookshop is having her there, so I'm so excited to meet her and get a signed copy of the book. I can't wait, but I really want to have the book read by the time I meet her. So goal is to read it by the time I meet her, but I'm really hoping to get it done by the time it releases, but we will see. We'll see how that goes. Next, I'm going to be reading the second book after Small Time Big Magic, which is Big Little Spells. So I'm doing that as part of a big group buddy read, and I can't wait to see how this story progresses. And then I finished the Chestnut Springs series last month, but I've been doing like all the Elsie Silver books with a big group buddy read. And in November, we're starting the Rose Hill series, which I'm so excited for. So I will be reading Wild Love. Oh, I can't wait. I've heard so many good things about this book. So yeah, I'm excited to dive in. And then one book that I like just started, but has been like my priority read for November is If It Makes You Happy. This is very much my vibe. It's a romance story set in the 90s in Vermont. It's just such a quintessential fall read. So I'm really excited to keep going. I only read, I think there's the prologue. I don't even think I'm at chapter 1 yet. I just read the prologue, and I'll be reading this one, and I'm so excited. And then another must, I have There Better Be Pie. This is just like a quick little novella. I'm going to be reading it around Thanksgiving, probably the day before, maybe on the day. We'll see. I could probably read it like just on Thanksgiving. But anyway, yeah, definitely just something seasonal to enjoy. Then I have 2 books that I really want to get to. Yeah, just hoping to get to these because I really want to read them. First is Before Dorothy. This has been on my TBR ever since it came out. It's been eyeing me from my shelf since I bought it, and I am just so excited to read this book. So yeah, hopefully I can get to this one. And then another historical fiction is The Great Alone. This is a chunker, but I've heard that fall is like a good time to read this one, so I'm hoping to get to this one. And actually, these 2 I might end up doing as buddy reads, so if that works out, then I'll be buddy reading those, and that'll help me get them off of my TBR. So yeah, I'm excited. But other than that, I mean, that's about 7 books. So yeah, I usually read more than that anyway. So I'm excited to do more mood reading this month, because that's just where like I have like a draw to be doing more mood reading. And so it kind of gives me like a struggle, because I want to be just like picking things based off my mood, and I can't, because I have all these other things that I've committed to. Not to say that I don't enjoy all the books I'm reading, but it's just like you need to give into the mood sometimes, you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm excited to do that in November. I'm going to have a lot of fun, you know? It's like the end of the year, so there's lots of exciting things to read, and yeah, it's gonna be a good time, I think. In the comments, let me know what your favorite read was from October and the book you're most looking forward to reading in November. Thanks for watching, besties. I'll see you next time.